Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Client Networking Happy Hour meeting here in April. I'm going to give everyone just a moment here to get their audio on. And if anyone wants to put their cameras on as well, this is going to be an interactive meeting. You can post your questions in the chat and speak to Rick live here today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to our client networking happy hour meeting for April 2024. Here at Felix, we have been focusing pretty heavily on AI this year. So whether it's consulting with businesses on how to approach the opportunities and risks associated with AI, or recruiting top talent who understand this fast growing technology. And so we realize it plays and will play an important role in the development of businesses globally today and in the future. I'm Naomi Kent, Managing Director with Felix Global in the C-Suite Advisory. And today we'll be hearing from one of our clients on the topic of AI and its practical implications for leaders and senior executives. Now, for those who are not familiar with Felix, I'm going to say just a few words about our business. We know how important your people are to the success of your business, and we are passionate about seeing businesses grow through great human capital strategies. We offer consulting, recruiting, coaching, onboarding, and outplacement services across businesses in North America. And the C-Suite Advisory is a division of Felix that works primarily with individuals in leadership and senior executive positions who might be transitioning out of an executive role and into another, or who may be seeking corporate boards, or who might be looking to plan out their retirement in a totally different way. Now, I would like to introduce and pass over to our speaker tonight, Rick Cochran. Now, Rick is a very good friend of the Felix C-Suite Advisory, so we're very happy for him to be here today. He is also the Vice President of Special Projects at HMG Healthcare. Now, he has a background in driving revenue at many different businesses. And he did tell me that he has sold anything from trash containers to large multi-million-dollar, multi-year service deals. So you might be wondering, why is he interested in AI? Well, I asked him the same question. He said he likes to get more done. He loves efficiencies. He's really excited about new technologies. And he said he's forever curious. So for Rick, AI is a way to build a business and to be competitive. And he thinks it is the future. What do you all think? So Rick, welcome to the Felix Speaker Series. I'm going to hand it over to you to take it from here. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you very much, Naomi. And I want to say thank you for all of you for joining us today. It's great to see such a diverse group. I reviewed the questions that were submitted. Thank you very much. And it encompasses, what I found is encompasses a very wide range of AI knowledge. For those that sent in those questions, we appreciate that. And I'm going to cover those questions as we go through here. I'm also going to take some time to break and ask questions and have it interactive. And I think, Naomi, what we have is you want them to submit the questions via text, I guess, on the screen. Is that right?
Yes, you can put them into the chat, and then I will interrupt you, Rick, as you go and ask questions if they're relevant. If not, we'll leave them to the end as well. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. And I'll also pause as we go through here so that we can have those questions answered. Also want to let you know that I know that this is not, in our short period of time, going to capture all of your questions that you're going to have as we go through here, but you'll see my contact information and feel free to give me a call. I'm happy to help. My objective for this session is to explore what AI is and what it is not, to examine its influence on both our professional and our personal lives and discuss its future direction. I'll conclude with some personal insights, and for those eager to dive deeper into it, feel free to give me a call or text or shoot me an email. But I think it's important, as Naomi started, is before we dive into the main topics, I'd like to share with you my own journey, just a little bit of how I got here. Like many of you, my career has evolved from launching a startup business. Fortunately, we ended up going national on that business, to becoming a CEO then through a transitional type of program with Felix, working with Hugh Shields, probably, gosh, I don't know, 18, 19 years ago. And that in itself, for me and the companies that I work with, had a profound impact, both tactical as well as strategic, and moving my profession, my career forward, as well as providing value to the companies that I worked for. Um, From my vantage point, I view AI as both a force multiplier and an enabler. I look at it as a way to boost my efficiency across various activities, from analyzing data and selecting talent to enhancing customer interactions and even supporting my business and my personal endeavors. I did not get into this space just because, as Naomi said, I um, am a technologist. I am a business person that needs to get more done in the amount of time. And so when I look at technology, I look for technology to be, as I said, that force multiplier and that enabler for me. So I'm going to share that with you today. Um, my aim here is, in my career, is not to get an advanced degree in AI or become deeply analytical into this space, but to use AI as a complementary tool that augments my existing skills. And yes, I did use some of that AI in my presentation today, but it is a combination of using, it's not something that you dump your topics in and out comes your words. It's something that augments and complements what I'm doing. And so you'll see all through this presentation that all the way from the beginning to the end is it's about using this technology to complement and be that force multiplier. And once you begin to get the hang of that, it's pretty neat technology. So as we navigate um, through an era where technology reshapes boundaries of what's possible, one innovation, which is why we're here, stands out as a cornerstone for what I call transformational change. It's artificial intelligence, and I'll use AI through the entire conversation. As I mentioned, we've got a wide range of skill sets in here, so we'll go through from the 101 to, at the very end, give you some suggestions and even talk about some of the tools that I've come across that I think can help you through your daily lives. So today we're diving into how AI is not just a buzzword or a futuristic dream, but it's a powerful present day tool that's what I believe is redefining how we do business, as it has for me. I believe AI is being used, from my perspective, in automating the mundane type of tasks to forecasting the future. AI is revolutionizing operations across multiple industries, making businesses smarter, faster, and more in tune with customer needs. So, what I'd like to do is begin to explore this technology, not just in enhancing the operations, but also talking about how it's setting new standards for efficiency, customer interactions, innovative growth. We're going to see some real world examples. We'll talk about some of those of AI at its work and understand why embracing AI is not an option today, but it's absolutely a necessity. We can no longer, as individuals, just dabble in it and say, I'm going to play in it. We need to really get involved in this because it has significant impact on business and us personally. And it's absolutely, I believe, it's absolutely critical in staying competitive in our ever evolving business landscape. For years, we talk about how business moves and how quickly it moves. It is changing. When I get finished with this presentation, the stuff that we're talking about is going to be outdated within a week. I mean, it moves that quickly, as you know, sitting on that side. So let's get started and see how AI is truly changing the game for businesses and our personal lives around the world. So, artificial intelligence, AI, refers in its basic format to the capability of machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. Essentially, it's software that enables machines to analyze, learn, perceive, and make decisions, somewhat like a human would. What AI is and is not is the following. And I think it's important to understand because there's a lot of conversation about how AI is going to take over the world. AI is a broad field that includes anything from robotic process automation to actual robots. It involves technologies like machine learning, where machines can improve their performance over time without being explicitly programmed. AI is not a technology that can completely replicate human intelligence or conscientiousness. It doesn't inherently understand ethical norms or possess emotional intelligence. It operates within a set of constraints and doesn't have desires or motivations to move on its own. That's important for us to understand. So, just a real quick history because I went back and I started thinking, okay, where did AI come from and how long has it been around? This is not anything new. It actually started in 1956 in a workshop at Dartmouth College, and that's where it was termed as artificial intelligence. The early optimism, like many things that are being launched, led to significant funding, like the .com, but it soon became apparent that the massive challenges laid ahead in the adoption and where is it going to go. Very difficult for the dollars that were invested to see immediate impact. The field has experienced, as you know, through several cycles of extreme optimism that have been followed by disappointments, which ultimately resulted in funding. And for a period of time, we ended up having what I call white winners, which basically says nothing's going on. It's sitting here because the funding had been pulled. Within the last 10 years, and I would say emphasizing the last 5, we've had a resurgence in the capacity and the capability of what AI can do. And I would tell you, AI really came on my radar screen. And I'm going to share with you, we're already using it, all of us today, but where it really came on my radar screen was in 2019 and 2020. And that allowed us to sit at home and operate from the house or a remote location, and AI became something of an everyday conversation. Hence, we're sitting here talking about it. So I believe, is crucial because it can handle both complex and large tasks with efficiency beyond our own capabilities. As an example of that, one of the things that I provide to several of my organizations is a financial analysis or narrative. Using AI, and I'll tell you, Chat GBT is something I want you to walk away with. Many of you are probably using that today, is I'm able to drop a financial spreadsheet complex within Chat GBT and begin to ask with the right prompts, what are the anomalies? What are the ups? What are the downs? How do I compare this business to the other 39 businesses that we're managing? In a very succinct way, it will give you that narrative. And that narrative really allows our leadership team and our board to understand those critical imperatives that we need to begin to change and we need to really pay attention to. So it drives innovations today. We're seeing it from healthcare to finance, improving customer experiences, streamlining operations, and opening new avenues for growth and profitability. So I'm going to start off here by saying, welcome to the AI revolution in business. I'm going to cover business, then I'm going to get into the personal aspect of it. When I look at, there's 4 major pillars. AI can impact everything that we can sit here all day and talk about all the uniquenesses of AI, but I want to focus really on these 4 areas. The first one is data analysis and decision making. From my perspective, AI has greatly enhanced our ability to analyze data. It enables more informed and strategic decision making, as I exampled earlier. For an example, here in the marketplace, the AI algorithms are able to swiftly and accurately predict consumer behavior and market trends from large databases. Consider how retail giants like Amazon leverage AI to forecast product demand, optimize inventory, and ultimately personalize marketing efforts, which significantly boost the efficiency and customer satisfaction. In the financial sectors, which this has a significant impact, it's being used today, AI ads in real-time fraud detection. You can see that when somebody gets your debit card, it's immediately identified, for instance, at Bank of America, and they immediately begin to call or shut off your debit card. That's all happening through this AI fraud detection capability. And it's also being used for people that are in a simple form of credit risk assessment, enhancing safety, reliability, and financial decisions based off of your historical performance for our actions, really. In the automation and driving automation and overall efficiency, AI's ability to automate repetitive tasks is transforming industries. In manufacturing, as an example, AI, as we've all seen, is driving robots to perform precision tasks that are typically done on assembly lines. This obviously increases the output and reduces errors. In the office settings, we use AI tools to take over routine, kind of rudimentary or routine tasks like data entry and scheduling. Even using, and Naomi and I talked about this, even using AI on a personal note to manage your calendar and to automatically set up times and schedules on your calendar on a personal note. So we've also seen, and we're going to see more of this because it's not fully to a point that is seamless, but the advanced of chatbots handling customers' inquiries, allowing human employees to concentrate on more strategic and complex tasks. As we focus on customer relationship management or CRM, we've seen in things like Salesforce or Goldmine or some of the other CRMs, they are personalizing customer interactions in an unprecedented scale. AI-powered chatbots, they manage thousands of interactions simultaneously, providing immediate responses and resolving customer issues autonomously. And I would bet everybody here has been engaged in those chatbots. You either like them or you don't, but I can tell you that these systems are going to continue to expand and the interactions are going to become greater and they will become a mainstay in our customer service centers. Retailers like Sephora and H&M utilize chatbots exclusively for their personalized shopping advice and improving customer experiences. And then the last is innovations and competitive advantages. AI fuels the innovation by enabling businesses to explore new models and tailoring products to specific customer needs. As an example of this, in the healthcare space, in the space that I was introduced to you all by Naomi, which is HMG Healthcare, we are using artificial intelligence to look at the data of all of the services that we provide to our 4,000 patients and looking at the data to understand what is working and what's not working so that we can improve the quality of care. Based off of any of those deficits or holes, we use that to create training modules to address those specific areas. In managing those numbers, one of the things that we have found is by using this technology in conjunction with the human element, not alone, we actually are increasing the quality of care across our entire patients. One way that we measure that is that a lot of these facilities that we work with will keep patients in their facilities until the government says we're not going to pay anymore. We believe by using this technology, our patients stay in our facilities somewhere between 20 and 22 days, and then they move on. So by gathering this data and understanding, and then applying that data through artificial intelligence, even in a graphic form and a narrative, we're able to pinpoint the areas that we need to be focusing on. An example, you all know this, those that have iPhones, one of the AI features that we all use is facial recognition on these phones. And as a classic example, when I pick my phone up, it recognizes my face off 500 different data sources and allows me to immediately sign in without having to physically place my code. That is happening, and we all experience that today. And that is something that transcends all these different industries. So a lot of information on the history. Naomi, I want to pause here and see if we have any questions, or if anybody'd like to, or if there's anything up on the website that we need to answer at this time.
Yeah, someone has asked, what are your views on the need? Well, we're going to talk about regulation in a little bit. Is
Yep,
that right?
we are. Yep.
Yeah, so why don't I save that for a little bit later? There's nothing coming up yet that's relevant to what we're doing just yet, but I think for the
Okay.
regulation part, there will be. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about AI in our personal life. We see that AI is becoming deeply embedded in our business world, and it's already here in our personal life. So what I'd like to do is let's take a journey through our daily lives, and I'd like to use this as an example. But let's look at it not as we know them today, but as they could be tomorrow. So I'd like for you to imagine a world where your home, your health, your finances, and your learning are all seamlessly managed by an invisible helper, artificial intelligence. Many of you are sitting there right now looking at me and saying, well, yeah, I'm already using some of that. But let me give you a couple of examples. Let's talk about a day in a smart home. So imagine waking up not to the jarring sound of an alarm, but to a gentle a lighting that gradually brightens, and the thermostat adjusts to a perfect morning temperature. Your coffee starts brewing itself, and your refrigerator, when you look at it, tells you what's in there, what's inside the refrigerator that you can have for breakfast. If you leave work, your home locks itself, and your security system arms automatically. You all know when I went through some of these, this isn't the future. It's what AI powered devices like Nest and Ring are making possible today. These systems, whether we like it or not, learn from your preferences and our behaviors, and they are bringing ease and security into our home life. This is happening today. Now, let's shift to personal health. Picture an AI fitness coach that designs your workout plans and a health monitor that keeps tabs on your vital signs, nudging you, whether it's on your arm or in your pocket, towards healthier choices. Wearables like Fitbit are already doing this, and they're personalizing how we track our fitness. While AI drives apps like Ada Health that helps us understand not only what's taking place, but those symptoms so that we can react to it and seek medical advice. AI in health and wellness is like having a doctor trainer, a nutritionist, all rolled into one right in your pocket or now on your arm. It's absolutely amazing. If we transition into finance from a personal perspective, imagine this: a managing money manager, as is can be designed and created and work seamlessly into your life through AI. An AI financial advisor in our smartphones that we're carrying today can categorize your spending. It can help you stick to a budget, and it can even guide you through investment decisions for optimal growth. That one, I can tell you, playing with that is, when you're starting to play with my finances, it's a little spooky. And so my recommendation is, before you start getting into that into your 401, start playing around with some of the easier financial stuff. It's a whole lot easier to delete than having to worry about claw back your funds. I've gone through that issue. Um, so when we're talking about making financial decisions, there's a tool that's called Mint, and it analyzes your transactions in real time, MINT. While robo advisors like Betterment strategize your investment portfolio, and this is one that I use, based on their sophisticated algorithms, all of this is done through AI, and it increases and it works well with you on your financial health, consistently monitoring, optimizing, and aligning to your personal goals. From a personal, one of my businesses that I've been involved in and doing today is around education. And also my concern around education, we did a launch, which is called um, college choice today, and we built the entire company off AI, using AI, to where we ended up staying in a centralized location at Baylor University in their psychometric department to end up moving across the United States, all through AI and what that technology allowed us to do. So I have a real interest in the education, especially with 5 kids that have now exited school and they are tax-paying adults. But let's consider the role of AI in ongoing education, because that is drastically changing, not only in the education, but also in our personal development as senior individuals. Platforms that you may have heard of, like Coursera and Khan Academy, adapt their technology and their AI to our learning style and our pace. If you've ever used those systems, not only will it adapt it to your style and pace, but it will begin to recommend courses that not only interest you, but also complement your career goals. Apps like Duolingo personalize learning capabilities and experiences. So if you want to learn in multiple languages, or you actually want to present some of your learnings in multiple languages, there's that AI technology for that. So AI in education means lessons are always tailored to you, making learning more effective and engaging than ever before. We are seeing this across every one of the academic institutions today. Um, and I'll stop there quickly because this normally creates some questions. Are there any questions about any of these um, personal effects of AI?
Somebody
Yeah.
has asked, yeah, somebody has asked, what might employees learn today to prepare for the AI business environment of the future? So what can we be learning? What is maybe one of the top ones that you would recommend?
On the AI tools, or what we need to be learning?
Yeah. What should we be learning in terms of just in a business environment for AI?
Yeah. So, if you look at your major functions, and I'm going to go through this in detail, but there's a couple of, and I'll also cover it by position. And so there's a number of things that I'm going to go through that, if you're in a certain position, like a CEO, or in your marketing or your sales, I'll give you a couple of um, suggestions around that. But I think in overall, to answer that question, is to keep an open mind and experiment. And as I said earlier, and I saw a couple of smiles, is don't experience with your financial funds. Experience in writing, and then taking what you have written and incorporate that into Chat GP and see what comes GBT and see what comes out. So I would say my short answer, and I'll get more into this, is to have an open mind and engage and understand that this technology is here. And what's really, really interesting for all of us sitting on this conversation is that we are at the forefront of not the development of AI, but the continued development of AI and the application of AI, and more importantly, the application of AI where it's at the intersection of the human element and technology. That's what we need to be thinking about. Um, I'll give you this example. This is what we can't do. My father-in-law, who's 87 years old, doesn't carry a smartphone. Given to him, but he got rid of it. He uses a flip phone. And my conversation with him is that when I asked him, why aren't you using it? He said, I don't need that. That's not something that I need to get involved in. I don't do those kind of things. We no longer in this world today have that option around AI. We have to be involved in it. And so, Naomi, to that question, open mind, get involved in it, try it, and learn from it. That's what we need to be focusing on. So, do you have anything else, Naomi?
There's a few more questions about the risks, so there's going to be a lot of questions when we hit that part. So we'll keep
Yeah.
going.
Good, good. So as we have journeyed through this AI enhanced world, and as it continues to build out, it's clear that AI isn't just transforming industries. It's profoundly enriching our personal lives by embracing AI. To your point earlier, we not only open the doors to smarter homes and healthier lives, but we have the ability to streamline finances and personalize learning experiences. Um, so let's continue to explore and embrace the potential of AI is my recommendation, and make sure that every aspect of our daily life, we review it as being connected. And what does that mean to us? And that will give us what I believe a little bit of complication at the very beginning, but a much more intuitive and more engaging world in the marketplace. Um, I will tell you on a personal note, I'm 61, and for me to be able to have a feeling that I can maybe not pay 100% to AI in the engagement, how it's going to affect me in business with the individuals that I employ and that report to me, it's no longer an option today. I don't need to have an MBA in AI, but I sure need to understand, and I'll go through that, the effects of it throughout my entire organization. So, as we leverage the power of AI across these various sectors, I'm going to tell you that it's absolutely crucial that we embed the ethical considerations into our strategic framework. This approach, by doing this, ensures that our innovations not only propel us forward in our business, but they also reflect our core values. And as leaders, it's absolutely important because people look at us. We cast a very broad shadow. It can be a negative one or a positive one. And in today's world, we need to learn as leaders to focus on what I believe are three essential aspects to AI: privacy and data security, bias and mitigation in AI, and the adoption of sustainable AI practices. The two that, sustainable practices are important, but I'm going to tell you that when you're using AI, and I emphasize over and over, the integration or the complementary services of AI to the human element are absolutely critical. If we rely on AI solely, you will when you put something in and you begin to read it, it is it has biases because what's happening is AI learns off history and it learns all this. So we have to pay attention from a privacy and data security perspective. In the world of AI, data is more than just information, it's the foundation of our operational integrity. I will also tell you that it's vital that our AI systems are built with strong security measures to protect this sensitive data that we use every day and against unauthorized access and breaches. Companies like Google and Amazon are setting strong examples around this. They're using advanced encryption and strict data protocol protections to secure user data that's processed on our own smart devices. It's important for us to understand that our trust in technology fundamentally relies on our capacity to effectively safeguard this data. Because once we lose that, then we lose the confidence within this. And like this presentation, I, like you, went out and started looking at the different applications and I started playing around with them. But it wasn't until I began to step back and looked and built this foundation of, okay, how do I need to be looking at this? How do I need to be looking at technology and how does it impact? And how do I avoid these three things that I'm talking about here? The next one is avoiding the biases. And this is really important. And it's not talked a lot about, but it can get yourself in a pickle, especially if you're working in HR or you're sending a letter out to a group and you haven't proofed it yet. Everybody's going to experience that, kind of like sending out an email realizing that you said the wrong thing and you have to pull it back. So AI, to avoid biases, AI must operate on principles of fairness and impartiality. However, AI develops itself from historical biased data, can inadvertently continue these biases through all of your discussions. For those of you that have used Chat GBT, if as you've entered your information in and you keep this string going by asking questions, whatever you entered in at the beginning, that information, that bias, transcends everything else that you're talking about. So, as a warning, if you're using Chat GPT, stop, read it, correct it, and then start going through it. Because if not, you'll have an inherent bias through the entire document. It is imperative for businesses to use what I believe is diverse training databases and always conduct regular audits of your AI systems to identify and mitigate any of these biases, as the example I just gave. This dedication to fairness not only boosts the corporate reputation, but it also complies with global regulatory standards and ethical norms. As a leader in the industry, when I talk about um, leading by example, one of the things that I promote at the companies that I work with is there needs to be a standard set. We as leaders need to come out with how we are going to use AI, how we're going to integrate AI, and what does it mean to us. And that needs to come from us. Oftentimes in organizations where you get yourself, boxed in a corner, is we let the organization play with it. And it starts to bubble up until we get to a point, specifically in the healthcare, where we're dealing with HIPAA. We need to be very, very careful on the information that goes out. And our leadership, us as leaders, it's our responsibility to help set those standards in that direction. So, in another area, given the significant energy consumption of AI technologies, and we don't talk a lot about this, but AI uses an extraordinary amount of energy in data space. And that takes electricity and power in order to handle it. So I think it's absolutely essential when we're talking about um, um, giving back or cutting our carbon footprint is for us to develop sustainable AI practices. And what I mean by that is we need to focus on minimizing the environmental impact of our AI operations. For instance, I was reading the other day that Google uses AI to enhance the energy efficiency of its data center. And this illustrates the cutting edge of a method of using AI to reducing the carbon footprint. It's not reducing the amount of energy for AI or what you're seeing on this screen, but what's supporting AI, such as the data center. And implementing these sustainable AI practices is not just an environmental necessity, but as I mentioned earlier, it's also a strategic advantage that boosts our operational efficiency and supports the global sustainability objectives. So as we deepen our integration of AI into our business operations, embedding our efforts into what I believe are ethical practices is not merely beneficial, it's imperative. By prioritizing privacy, fairness, and sustainability, we enhance our compliance and social responsibility, thereby ensuring the long term success of our AI initiatives. And I want to underscore that, just as I mentioned earlier, that if our data is not correct and we use technology, we lose confidence in that. If we lose confidence in using AI, it's easy for those of us that don't truly understand it to just shut it down in an organization. And this is where we need to pay attention and have conversations around what is it going to take to use AI and how are we going to use it to drive long-term success in our initiatives. So as leaders, I ask that we champion this responsibility and that we ensure that our AI technologies serve as a force for good within our society and becomes a complement to the human element. Naomi, let me pause and see if we have any other questions from the group.
Yeah, we do. So someone said, who owns the results? You talked about, changing things to make sure that it's learning information, but who owns it? Someone asked, can AI win a Nobel Prize?
No, no, I don't believe so. I think, in the future, could it? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I would tell you, if you go back to the beginning of my conversation, it is the intersection of the human element complemented by the technology. Could an individual win the Nobel Prize by leveraging AI? Absolutely. Absolutely. Either through research, either through writing, through presentation. Yeah, absolutely. So I think, certainly I could be proved wrong, but in my conversations across multiple industries, either at the beginning stages of AI or for those organizations that are pretty engaged in AI, um, the success of AI is the complement of using technology, this technology, AI, as an enabler to what we are doing as humans. So
No,
AI win Nobel Peace? Nah, I don't see it. With a human, yeah, absolutely.
another question for you. So when you put information in, there's millions of people, right, putting information into a chat GPT platform. Are they being watched? Are people looking? Are the competitors looking? How secure or how worried should we be about our data that's out there?
No more, no more, no less than we already are with our phones. I mean, we're having conversations around TikTok, right? So, do people look at this information? The system looks at the information. And I'll give you an example. If you use ChatGPT and you get the paid section of it, it's going to ask you, and the non-paid may do the same, but it's going to ask you at the very bottom, give it thumbs up, thumbs down. If it's a thumbs down, it's going to ask you why. And when you put that in, the system is going to begin reading that, and that's how it gets into self-learning. Can anybody get in and take a look at it? I guess if they write the code to it, but they're not supposed to, because that goes back to data integrity. And the minute that that happens, think about, and I'll reference Chat GBT again. If for some reason an individual is looking through that and is engaged in that and creates a level of bias within that, that organization's gone. Our confidence within that organization is there no more. So I think there is a risk, and it's something that we need to be cognizant of. And it goes back to my conversation about we need to bring this on the forefront and discuss these topics, and will help eliminate that risk.
So, Rick, there are things like, deep fake, there are cyber threats, cyber attacks, there are impersonations, right? You can get someone's voice and you can have it simulated. What are the considerations there? Like, should we be careful, even in this meeting right now? I'm speaking, right? Should we be careful about where we put our data and what we do with it? Is there a privacy issue there with across a number of different areas?
There is, absolutely there is. And if you want to take my picture and put hair on my head, I'd be delighted for you to go ahead and do that, Naomi. But it absolutely happens. I mean, it's absolutely, and we're seeing it out there. I mean, take a look at the entertainment industry today. There's already lawsuits going on because people are using either words, they're using the tone, they're using the medley. Um, and I believe we're going to have to go through this until we begin, as organizations, that AI becomes an everyday conversation in this business. You could even say that, look, there's a reason there's a CEO. There's a reason there's a marketing person. There's a reason there's an IT person. There's a reason there's a data integrity person. We could even go to the point where we end up having somebody that just focuses on artificial intelligence with organizations and making sure that we comply and that we have clean data. So we're still, which I think is so exciting here, because how often do we get to be part of something that can help transform our business, not only from a personal perspective, but through the learnings, help our organizations. And even though this has been around for over a decade, the secret sauce is in the application of this technology. And for those of you that have experimented with it, I'd tell you your other secret sauce is the prompts. How do you ask the system for what you want? Because if you don't ask the system correctly, and you can go back through, you're not going to get what you're looking for. So that's one of the keys here as well. Do you have another one?
Yeah, is AI at risk of copyright infringement?
I believe it is. Um, you when you if somebody writes a book or they write a paper, and there's applications out there that say, hey, well, our system will write that book for you. Remember where that system is getting that information. That system is going out to the marketplace and pulling information. Matter of fact, where you need to be careful, and that doesn't mean that it's taking words verbatim, because what AI is really good about is taking that information based off your prompt and putting it in a format. As many of you know, you can do it in a format that's a business format. You can do it in a one that has more of a social demeanor to it. But we have to be careful about that. Yes, absolutely. It's something that we have to watch out for. Now, Naomi, we talked earlier that you can even in your prompt say, I'd like for you to pull some quotes or some text from this book. Now you possibly have an infringement issue, a copyright issue. So we still have to worry about that.
Excellent. Let's keep going. And I've got maybe a few more that we'll bring in as well.
Okay. So as we navigate the evolving landscape of artificial intelligence, I'm going to tell you that it's absolutely essential to anticipate the future trends in the emerging technologies. This is an everyday proposition. As I mentioned early on in my presentation, probably some of this stuff that I'm talking about here is is going to change. It's moving that quickly. So I think it's absolutely essential that we get engaged and we anticipate the future and look at those trends. AI is expanding the influence in both our professional and our personal lives. Today, we explored the potential developments and we discussed how this strategically positions ourselves at the forefront of the technology wave. I'd like to go through these future trends and some of these predictions. And I think, Naomi, after this, we'll have a couple of questions that'll come out of here. So, the emerging technologies in AI, quantum AI. And I think what's really interesting, some of you in a most simplest form, when you talk about the intersection of quantum computing and AI, it holds an incredible promise and extraordinary processing capabilities. It absolutely opens doors to solve complex challenges currently way beyond what I'm going to call our human reach. I have seen and been watching both Google and IBM as they're exploring these applications in the fields of pharmaceuticals and material science. For those that don't understand quantum, what's really interesting, instead of looking at technology flat and looking at dashes, ones and zeros, quantum basically takes those ones and zeros and puts it on a multi-dimensional board. And when you take that and you put it with artificial intelligence, it's going to be significant. If there's ever an opportunity for something to learn, remember there aren't feelings that come out of this. It would be the continued development of quantum and AI. That's where these big leaps and bounds are going to come. AI is poised to transform. One of the things that I've talked about is biotechnology by enhancing genetic editing techniques. And this is significant for us. It's accelerating today drug discovery processes and it's personalizing medical treatments, not only with once it's assessed, but as I mentioned earlier in Fitbit, it's sitting on your arm and it's in your pocket with our smartphones. So technologies such as it's called CRISP, CRISPR, and AI-driven platforms are being tailored to provide individual genetic profiles and offering hope for diseases that we believe were once not treatable, such as cancer and Alzheimer's. It's pretty fascinating. So AI is not only when we talk about now in the transportation, it's not only advancing autonomous car technology that we've seen with Tesla, but it's also enabling the development of fully autonomous drones and submersibles. These innovations have applications in both agriculture, delivery services, and deep sea exploration. It is absolutely pushing the limits of what machines can do. AI's role is transforming lives. And all of these examples that I'm talking about are not without the human element. So in business, AI is becoming a cornerstone of our business operations. It's providing predictive analytics for better decision making. It's streamlining our complex production processes, and it's enhancing customer interactions at a significant scale. For example, AI has driven supply chain management systems like those that we've become used to with Amazon. I continue to stay amazed that I will order something off Amazon and it comes the next day. How does it do that? Because it's only showing me, if you want that next day service, what is in their inventory. And AI is helping to make that happen. It optimizes that inventory based off the real time data forecast and your interactions, which is pretty amazing. So, on a personal level, AI enhances our daily experiences from smart homes that adapt to the preferences of us as residents to our personal health devices that offers fitness and dietary tips based on biometric readings. In education, it's helping tutor our students and it's personalizing learning. And strategies for AI driving towards the future, I'm going to tell you that continuous learning and reskilling is absolutely critical for driving this forward. It's absolutely vital to invest in our ongoing education and reskill. Many people are saying, and I hear this all the time, well, it's going to put us out of a job. It's not going to put us out of a job any more than what technology has done in the past. What it's allowing us to do, which I think is so exciting, is allow us to reskill, is to learn this because everybody, all of us on the phone, we may be at different stages of artificial intelligence, but we're all still pretty newbies within this. And so is everybody else within the space. And for us to incorporate the learning and the reskilling, it allows us to identify these new skills and it offers us new opportunities within the marketplace. So workers need to develop, we need to develop these skills. And what we do, as I said, the human element needs to complement AI and AI us, not only in our writing, but in our problem solving, in our critical thinking, and in our interpersonal skills. One of the other pieces that I think is really important here is the regulatory framework. And this goes to some of the red flags that you had talked about earlier, Naomi. But as we integrate more AI into our systems, we need to develop what I call stringent regulatory frameworks to address ethical concerns that I believe are going to be critical, such as biases. Collaboration between the business and governments is going to ensure that AI technologies are used safely and they benefit society as a whole. Fostering AI innovation in the ecosystem is encouraging both collaborative environments that connect to startups, academic institutions, and industries so that we can accelerate the AI advancements and make sure that the benefits are widely distributed. As an example, one of the boards that I sit on is with University of Texas on their incubator board. In that board, we release a little north of about $1 billion every 18 months for new businesses. In those new businesses, in order to get them up and get them running, we absolutely engage AI within that. We engage AI in the narrative on the financials, to the product development, to even forecasting the future based off the adoption of the marketplace. And so it absolutely impacts what we do. As we approach what I call this transformative era driven by AI, and I would challenge you that it's not driven by AI, it's driven by the human element with the interest of AI and what does it mean to me? Our focus should not only be on the technological advancements, but also on the responsibility adapting to and shaping all these changes that I'm talking about, we're going through. By staying informed about these emerging trends, recognizing AI's growing influence, and preparing strategically as well as tactically, we can leverage AI to enhance our business strategies and improve our overall quality of life, making sure that the future benefits everyone. And AI with the human element is absolutely doing that. So, any questions around these business and personal that anybody might have?
Yeah, we had
And
one here
excuse
that
me for
says,
looking away.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So one is so we talked about sort of some of the things that it's trying to solve for, right? Being efficient, removing some of the kind of mundane work, right, that we perhaps need to do. But what in your estimate, what do you think is the real problem that AI is likely to solve in the future? Do you think, or today and in the future?
So I'll answer that two ways, and excuse me because we've got lots of people, so I'm looking across multiple screens here. But matter of fact, I'm actually using AI to look at your facial. So I'm getting this. Are people accepting it? Are they not? Are they tired? Do they get it? Um, um, I think when we look at AI, and your question again is how does it impact?
Yeah, what is the sort of what do you think the problem is that it's trying to solve, just in general? Where do
Yeah,
you see the benefit and just across our lives,
yeah,
personal or business?
yeah. I think the biggest is it opens up where we are used today to going into that, doing a search in the search engine and asking a question. I think those days will go away. I think what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go into a search engine that is significantly driven by AI. And so, what I believe AI does for us, it opens up an entire world to us. It's like going into a library and asking with the right prompt in a sentence or two the amount of information that will come to you based off of your prompt. And I think that's the biggest that brings to us. Now, then there's the pieces of can I use AI to create my PowerPoint? Yeah, you can. Can I use AI to create and enhance new technology? Yes, you can. But I think for us sitting on the phone and for us, for the general population, what it does is it explodes that search bar into information that is relevant to what you need. When you go and ask a second question to that, Naomi, in that same bar, in that same stream of thought, it will now answer that next question, but go back up to the top and look at what you asked and just keep this streaming, um, this collective view. So I think where it's really the impact for us today is allowing us to have pertinent data or information, not just data, but information at our fingertips.
And Rick, if we can create strategic plans and we can create bots that can make speeches and things like that, do we need senior executives? Do we need corporate board members?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, we do. Think of AI as in the day where you type something up, and then you go up to your word and you do a search for a particular word within that, or you ask the system to go through and highlight any of your grammatical mistakes. For us to think that AI would take over the leadership, remember, AI is a complement to what we do. We drive that. Think about the prompts. We drive what we get out of AI through the type of prompts that we give AI. It's like in the search box. So those that will succeed, my feeling, those that succeed in the future will not get so wrapped up into the details of this as I'm talking about our leaders, but understand how we can use AI as a complement to our everyday lives. And we all know that we can get involved in technology for technology's sake. And it's a world that I dealt in working for Ross Perot at either EDS or Pro Systems. Is one of the things we used to say is we are not involved in technology for technology's sake. We're involved in technology, use it as a strategic advantage and a complement to what we're doing. And so I don't believe we'll ever get to that point where you asked that question, Naomi, are senior off CEOs or CMOs or CLOs or CTOs will go away? Absolutely not. But what will happen is that those individuals in that position will learn how to use AI as a complement to their daily lives that will enrich it as well as it will help lead the business.
Excellent. And then a question here from Hugh Shields. He said, as a CEO, how can I use AI to help the efficiency and productivity of the team? And I'd also of their senior team. And I'd also add in there, making informed decisions. How can CEOs leverage it for their leadership teams?
Great question. And I actually have a whole document that I will send out around this. But I'm going to tell you, in the simplest form, if I look at a CEO, it's around ethics, it's around compliance, it's around biases. If I look at HR, it's around biases in the engagement of the human element aspect of it. So each of us have certain responsibilities within that. And to your point earlier, Naomi, when we were talking earlier, I've created a list that we will send out with this presentation that has the top 5 AI productivity tools for us to use as individuals. I have the top AI tools that relate directly to business and that directly to us as a person, as an individual. And then you also have the top AI tools that are being used today. It doesn't, when I say top AI tools, I don't want to try something new out on my businesses because I can't afford to fail. So what I want to do is I want to use an AI tool, and it may not be the latest, but it's an AI tool that will drive the necessary results. And that's what I focus on. And so what I'm going to give you is the top AI tools by position within organizations that you should take a look at. And it will give you the name, the link, and why you would use it and the outcome that would come out of that. And so when you're looking at this, one of the biggest challenges I had is where do you start? And I piecemealed it. And I think one of the ways to start here is, and in some degree it may drag, but understand the basis of it and where it came from and how we can use it. And now what you'll get coming forward is the uniquenesses of these applications and how to use them, and then start playing with them. And you'll be surprised how quickly it becomes intuitive.
And then Rick, so we've talked a little bit about some of the products that people are using. Patty Claire has just asked, what are people actually using it for? Like, what do you see the most amount of usage? I know we've talked about other products that are out there, but maybe when it comes to research, she put calendar management. Is it searches? What are you seeing?
Okay, where I see it being used the most is when somebody's writing and they're stuck, is use AI to help with that. I see it in taking Excel spreadsheets or CSV documents, putting it in there and asking specific questions. And instead of me sitting down with a ruler and Excel and all these spreadsheets and going through and looking at year over year, it's using technology through Tableau, through Microsoft. It's even dropping an Excel sheet if you have a document and you want a quick view is tell me what this means to me. What are the areas I need to be concerned about? Which divisions are overperforming? Which divisions are underperforming? Question mark, enter. And within 2 or 3 minutes, I'll have a whole narrative. And that is being used all the time, because what that does is it takes us as a leader in the business and says, okay, these are the major areas that I need to focus on. It also, for those that are for my board members that are very busy and they're looking and we're sitting on multiple boards, to be able to give them narratives that come out of something like that is absolutely critical. Because as how many times do you give documents to individuals, say, I need you to look at this. We have a meeting coming up next week, and they show up for the first time. The document's never been opened, right? And so AI can take that and create it and put that narrative in a document. So financial analysis, the narrative, and writing, I see are some of the top. People are also using AI in setting appointments. You see that in HubSpot. You see that in Salesforce. All of that stuff is embedded within those technologies.
Thank you. And then someone just mentioned here in the chat that there's also ways that you can check computer code, right? There's a lot of programs that can do that.
Oh, it's incredible. And there's a way, which is interesting because the schools pulled this out. I was working with Biola University in California, and one of the things that we were worried about was, do we adopt AI within the school system or do we not? What quickly came out from ChatGPT, because there was a lot of students that were using ChatGPT to create their papers. AI came out with ChatGPT came out with how to take your paper and make sure that it doesn't look like ChatGPT used it or created it, which is kind of interesting. There's also an application out there that allows us to take any of this information that we have and put it into a filter and understand how much of that was actually created by artificial intelligence. These are some of the things that are being used in the marketplace today, just in the education space. And so, we as individuals, kind of, there's something learned out of the education space is, if anybody's going to adopt that, it's kids of that age. And if anybody is going to use that, it is that age. And so we cannot say we are not going to use it. What we have to say is we understand it, and these are the parameters that we're going to use it, and then we make sure that we're engaged in it.
Wonderful. And then somebody has asked, are there any other AI programs that you are using or that you would suggest to use outside of ChatGPT? I know that you have the advanced version, right? You have the paid version of ChatGPT. I think a lot of us have probably got the free version. What's the difference?
The big difference is the relevant information. So the unpaid version is looking several years back. It's not as current. So if you want to get current information, pay the extra bucks and get the Chat GPT, the paid version. It's well worth it. And the communication that you can have with this is pretty amazing. But remember, as you're going through that, in any tool that you're using, there are inherent biases in it because it's pulling information. So if somebody wrote it somewhere and they had an opinion on it, that's going to come within your document. So you need to read that. Also, in the words that you're putting down, the text, if you're following that stream and you continue to ask questions and you're building on the narrative, whatever bias you had at the beginning will be carried through the entire document. It's very important. So the other things that I use, there's, we talked about this, there's Perplexity. There are things like Slack. Microsoft 365 has AI embedded in it totally. The HubSpot, the Google Assistant, Zoom has it in there. If you're looking for something more than that comprehensive and you want to use something that's specific, I'm going to tell you, because there's so much out there. If you go into ChatGPT, pay the version, go in the top left-hand corner, click on it, it will give you a list of all other types of artificial intelligence applications you can use. And that's where I would start. And it parses it out by finance, marketing, sales, operations. So you can go through that and you can pick out one of those and begin to play with it. And that's where I would start. And once you do that and you feel comfortable with it, then you can venture out. But I can tell you, just like there's always going to be a new slice of bread in this business. And I think we're going to need to stay up on it. I'm not suggesting that we become an IT professional within this. Even those individuals, when I'm talking to my IT folks, and we're looking about incorporating it either into the education space, in the healthcare space, into finance, into a new ACH business that we're going to be launching next month. We are all almost on. It's whoever read about AI first before they came into a meeting. That's how new it is with everybody. And our IT team, they make a living out of making sure we know what this is. So what's so interesting about this is we're almost all at the same level here. So if you feel like you're behind, um, I'm going to we'll send you some information. It will come from Naomi. But again, as I said, um, get involved in it. And for final thoughts, and then I've got to, and I want to be cognizant of the time, but for final thoughts here, I want to leave you with this, and you've heard this throughout the conversation. Embrace AI as a strategic imperative. Recognize AI not as a mere technology trend, but a fundamental driver to business transformation. Embrace it as a strategic imperative to stay competitive and drive innovation in your industry. The second one is invest in talent and skill development. Don't let don't let your only way of developing your employees and individuals is on their own. Prioritize investments in talent and skill development, and then build your workforce and make sure that they are adept at leveraging the AI technologies and foster that culture of continuous learning. The third one is foster ethical and responsible AI practices. We have to champion those, and we have to be on the forefront as leaders to let people know that we foster ethical and responsible AI practices, and then give an outline of what that means to you. When I say champion and be responsible for these practices within your organization, ensure that AI systems are designed and deployed in the manner that prioritizes, as I mentioned earlier, fairness, transparency, privacy, and security, and uphold those ethical standards. And then the other that I wanted to mention is foster collaboration and partnership. Recognize, and that's not just within your division or with you, but it's recognizing the power of the collaboration across your organization in partnerships in maximizing the impact of these initiatives. One of the things that we have forged in healthcare is an alliance with our vendors like IBM, Tableau, but also with the universities, with the research institutions. And part of the reason why I stay engaged and mentor at University of Texas is because it forces me to stay at the leading edge of the application of this technology. I don't need to know it for technology's sake. What I need to know is how do I apply it to drive my business and provide value add to my customers. And then the last is to stay agile and adaptive. And this is where, when I go back to my father-in-law that's 87, you have to be agile and you have to adapt. We're all at different levels. We have to cultivate agility and adaptability to navigate this, what I call rapidly evolving AI landscape. We have to embrace experimentation and what I call fast iteration, because it's changing all the time. There's going to be AI trends, there's going to be breakthroughs, there's going to be disruptions, and we need to be able to pivot our AI strategy if you're in that position. By prioritizing these key considerations, I believe we as leaders can position our organization and ourselves both to harness and to use what I call this transformational power of AI, effectively driving our sustainable growth, innovation, and competitive advantage in this ever changing digital marketplace.